Hi y'all, welcome back to the channel, and today I just wanted to talk about tummy time for newborns and babies. Basically, it's good for you to give them tummy time just for like 1 minute when they're newborns, and then after that, once they start to get bigger, you could do tummy time more. But right now I'm just doing 1 minute or whatever, and it's very good for baby to do tummy time so that way their neck can get stronger and they also can learn how to crawl faster. Now, you don't want to leave the baby in this position by themselves because they're still young and they can suffocate. So you have to monitor them like very good, very, very good. Oh, anyway, I had to move her from tummy time because she ended up falling asleep while she was on tummy time. So if they ever do fall asleep while they're on tummy time, just pick them up and lay them back on their back. But also, you always want to watch them because that's why it's a lot of young infant deaths, because they're not watching their baby. And I wouldn't say they're not watching them, because people watch their baby, but they just have to be more careful and more mindful about breathing and choking. Those are the two main things that comes with infants that pass away young and stuff like that. It's because they either suffocated or they either choked. So you really have to really pay attention to them. When they get 1 year old, you don't have to really pay attention. You could you have to pay attention, but you don't have to be extra mindful when they're one. You know what I'm saying? Because they're able to breathe, they're bigger, and if they are laying on their face or on their nose or a certain position that they don't feel comfortable in, they're gonna move. Like these newborns and young babies, they can't really move on their own, so that's why they end up suffocating or choking or anything like that. Because with my daughter, she chokes a lot during her feeds. And then we even switched the nipple and everything. So she's on newborn nipple and still she ends up choking while feeding. And you just have to be very careful with them. Especially if your newborn is choking, you pat their back and you rub their back. Rub up and down. Make sure they're sitting in a sit down position. You pat their back and you rub them up and down so that way they can breathe, because sometimes these babies be choking real bad and you just got to know what you're doing. If in worst cases you have to use the booger sucker to help them, but in mild cases or light cases, all you have to do is just pat their back and rub them, not, I wouldn't say hard, but not soft neither. Rub them so that way they can, and make sure you want to rub their back up and down, up and down, up and down. Make sure their body's going up and down with it. Not too hard, but hard enough so that way they can breathe again. Because I'm telling you, it's a very, very, very scary. But back to the tummy time stuff. When they're newborns, you want to do tummy time for at least 1 minute. I would say 1 good minute. Okay. When they get to like 2 months, a month, you could do tummy time for 2 minutes. And you'll see that they'll be more engaged, holding their head up more and stuff like that. But this is just to get my newborn to a stage to where she's going to be comfortable when she gets to 3 months, 4 months, to be on her tummy, because you always want to put them on their tummy. That teaches them how to crawl early, you know what I'm saying? Because when they're on their tummy, they're working their legs, they're moving their legs up and down, and this is going to help them. I wish that I knew this when I had my first daughter. I did not know a lot of things when I had my first daughter, but once I had my second daughter and my third daughter, now I really know like what to do. Because when I first had my daughter, I was not thinking about tummy time or anything like that. Also, I wanted to tell y'all, once your baby gets to a certain age to where they can notice your shape, they can notice your face, you want to engage them in learning activities. That's exactly what I did. And like I said, I wish I knew this when I had my first daughter, because I did not know a lot of things, and now I know. But you want to engage them in learning activities. You want to play with them. You want to put things on that teaches them. I did it with my second daughter, and she's very, very smart. My second daughter is very smart, Genesis. So you want to put them you want to get them on that, so that way they can be smart. I'm telling y'all, I wish I knew this with my first daughter, but it's a lot of things that you learn and you grow. So I know a lot right now as far as babies and pregnancy, so I might just come up here and do more videos on pregnancy to help pregnant women, or anything that I can do to help or whatever, because it's a lot of first time moms that don't know anything. They're just having the baby and they're just taking care of the baby. But what I have to say is, you really, really, really have to watch your newborn. That's why SIDS are there, where they end up dying out of nowhere and, you know, just choking, okay? 9 times out of 10, SIDS is from suffocation. You put something in the crib, or you have too much around the bed or whatever, or you end up sleeping and crushing your baby, things like those. So you really have to pay attention when you have a newborn. Like, really, really pay attention. And don't ever let them sleep on their stomach. Not right now. You know, once they get 1, 2, you know, they can sleep on their stomach, because like I said, they know how to move their head if their head got smushed in the pillow or anything like that. They know what to do. Newborns don't. So you just really have to watch your newborn. And like I said, tummy time is very important for your baby, for their development, for their growth, and also for them to learn how to crawl early. Because once you put them on their stomach, like I said, they move their legs in a crawling motion, and this helps. So yeah, and also tummy time is very important, but it has to be highly supervised, especially when they're newborns, okay? Because newborns cannot control their head and their face, and they will smush their face into the blanket or wherever you're doing tummy time at, and that causes suffocation. So you do not want to do that. So this is just a little video for y'all today about tummy time. Make sure you're giving your newborn tummy time at least 1 minute a day. Once they turn 2 months or 1 month, you could give them tummy time, I think, for like 2 minutes and like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Just so that way they could get used to tummy time. Like I said, I cannot stress that tummy time is very, very important for their development. But anyway, that's what I wanted to tell y'all. So this is her. She sleep off of her tummy time. And yes, y'all, if your baby falls asleep, once again, if they fall asleep on tummy time, take them off of their stomach and put them on their back, okay?